What's going on? Welcome to the podcast. You know who it is, Tim Johnson of the Tim Johnson Podcast, the only podcast for the truckers, for the expediters, for the long haulers, because I am one myself. And today, if you notice, I'm not in the normal location. Well, the previously normal location, because that shouldn't be a normal location if I am indeed an expediter and I'm on the road. And this podcast will be something that is recorded on the road. So today's episode is from a hotel. It's from a beautiful hotel. Actually, it's not a hotel. It's a motel. We live at the Motel 6. I ain't even gonna front on it. I ain't gonna put no extra cap on it, no sauce on it, no nothing. We at the Motel 6. Okay. We live in Laredo, Texas at the Motel 6. We came down. Let's recap this past week. What happened? Let's see. So, we came down. Man, when did we come down? Actually, we got a load from Roanoke, Virginia on Thursday, and we dropped that load off in Kingsville, Texas, right outside of Corpus Christi on Friday. And then Friday, we were hoping we were going to be able to get out of here, but our dispatch didn't really find us any loads, so we ended up staying here over the weekend. Got a room at your little neighborhood Motel 6. I hope y'all ain't turning up y'all nose to the Motel 6, because, we just needed a place to sleep. And if you out here as an expediter, as an over-the-road truck driver, as a whatever, then you just got to kind of slide in where you can slide in. So we've been down here in Laredo for a couple of days, chilling, relaxing, had an opportunity to do a podcast episode right before we left the hotel. So I'm going to go ahead and get this done right before we leave. I want to first say thank you to everybody who's watched the first two episodes. This is episode 3 of the Tim Johnson Podcast. We got a small little lineup today of some things I want to talk about. So we ain't gonna waste no time. We're gonna go ahead and get into it. First, we're gonna get into the first clip of the day, and let's go ahead and get the inspiration going.
Forget about entrepreneur.
We're gonna restart it from the top. Sometimes that lag and be killing me. But here we go.
Forget about entrepreneurship, because what comes quick leaves quicker. Entrepreneurship and hustling is about a slow but a for sure. That's what you want. Don't let these boys fool you and make you think that something just happens that quick. You gotta understand, there's no magic to this. There's no secret sauce, no secret formula. Hard work pays off. You put in the time, and time will pay you back. But if you think one way or another you're just gonna microwave some kind of opportunity / entrepreneurship or business and startup, and you think it's going to pay you back like that, it's going to pay you exactly what you did.
All right, there you go. That was Pitbull. This flight that was really important, especially since, like I said, this podcast is for the expediters, for the truck drivers, and most of us out here are entrepreneurs, right? Most of us out here getting to the bag ourselves with no company behind us. We don't get no vacation. We don't get no holiday pay. We don't get no sick pay, no sick time, none of that. We just got to come out here and get it every single day. So, if you're thinking about getting into it, that's the entrepreneurship talk right there from my boy Pitbull. All right. So we're going to start the show off with sports, because I won my fantasy league last night. I'm going to say it again. I won my fantasy league last night. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Won it. I had a 9-5 record. My team kind of, it was topsy-turvy there for a little bit. When we actually started the league, when we started the draft, I came in late, and I didn't get the players that I wanted. But at the end of the day, the players that I got showed up for me. I originally had Joe Burrow as my quarterback, but I wanted Patrick Mahomes. Ended up getting Joe Burrow. Y'all know Joe Burrow got hurt midway through the season. My backup was Jordan Love. I was shaking in my motherfucking boots because everybody, every single analyst, color analyst, every sports, Shannon Sharp, Skip Bayless, everybody of the likes was talking about how this guy was just not ready to be a starting quarterback in the league. And so I was kind of nervous. The only reason I picked Jordan Love up was because, hey, if Joe Burrow on the 1 week where Joe Burrow couldn't start, I'm thinking Jordan Love would have been my quarterback. Now, what I should have realized is that Joe Burrow has gotten hurt every single year he's been in the league. He has not played one season where he wasn't hurt. So I probably should have drafted at least three quarterbacks, to be honest with you. But Joe Burrow ended up getting hurt, and I had to put in Jordan Love. And surprisingly enough, Jordan Love came through for me. That man came through for me. Every single week he came through with at least 20 points, helped me out. And he's a serviceable quarterback. I think once that Green Bay team, I don't think they're going to go far in the playoffs this season. If I'm not mistaken, the Packers got to play the Cowboys this playoff weekend on Fox at 4:30. I don't think they're going to beat the Cowboys. I wouldn't be shocked if they beat the Cowboys. My pick for that game is definitely going to be the Cowboys. I don't think it's going to be a wide margin of victory, but I just don't. One, Jordan Love doesn't have any playoff experience. Dak Prescott has tons of playoff experience. CeeDee Lamb it really should change his name to CeeDee Lamborghini, because that boy smokes the competition every single time. There hasn't been a corner yet in the league that has shut him down for an entire game, unless he got hurt. But yeah, so I don't see the Packers getting out of the playoffs, out of the first round of the wild card playoffs, the wild card round of the playoffs this coming weekend. So yeah, I won it. I got the Super Bowl this year. I should have won it last year, actually. I should have won it last year. You know what ended up happening last year? I was facing my boy Chris, who set up the league, and the last week I had the Bills were playing. Remember that Bills game where one of DeMar Hamlin ended up going down with a heart attack? That game I believe I had a couple of receivers in that game, and I only needed like maybe 10 points to win. The game ends up getting canceled. Nobody replays, and Chris, my boy Chris, ends up winning the championship. So to be honest with you, I should be a back-to-back champ right now. Chris, you know that. But it is what it is. I'm not gonna front. Hey, I got that. I got back to the Super Bowl of the fantasy league, and I won the Super Bowl this year. So make some noise for me. Yeah, buddy. So yeah, I won that. So we're gonna, start off today's show with a little sports talk, because I think everybody is I think right now where we are is everybody's trying to figure out who the MVP is. And if you ask me who the MVP of the league was this year, I'm gonna go ahead and say it was CeeDee Lamb. Definitely CeeDee Lamb. The boy had 17. That man, actually, because he's not a boy. That's a man out there playing in that game. CeeDee Lamborghini had 1,749 yards. He had 12 TDs. He was the yards after catch leader. He was the target leader and the reception leader, a.k.a. he's that dude. He was 40% of all offense for Dak Prescott this past season. So if there's anybody who should be MVP of the league, it should be CeeDee Lamborghini. And if he don't win, I don't know what the league is doing, because that guy is the literal reason. I feel like he's a literal reason why Dallas even has a shot in the playoffs this year. I mean, without him, if he goes down, the next closest target to him on that team only has 600 yards of total offense. CeeDee Lamb has almost 1,800 yards of total offense for that team. If he goes down anytime between here and the Super Bowl, if they can make it to the Super Bowl, they don't have a shot. They don't have a shot. If Dak Prescott goes down and you still got CeeDee Lamb, you got a shot. But if CeeDee goes down, they do not have a shot. So that's why I think he should be the MVP of the league this year, without a shadow of a doubt. He should be MVP. If it's not him, then my second runner-up would be Tyreek Hill. And only reason I would give a second runner-up to Tyreek Hill is because he kind of slowed down a couple of times this year. He was a couple corners was able to kind of shut him down a little bit, and he was also hurt. But you can't really hold that against a player. But at the same time, CeeDee Lamb really wasn't hurt. He didn't get shut down. He was full throttle the whole way through. So if I'm gonna give it to anybody, it's got to be CeeDee Lamborghini. That's my pick right there. Atlanta Falcons didn't waste no time firing their head coach Arthur Smith, which I'm kind of glad they did, because I'm not an Atlanta Falcons fan, but that guy couldn't coach no football. Couldn't coach any football. His team was so sporadic. Like one week this past week they got blown out 48-17 by the New Orleans Saints. with Jameis Winston at quarterback. How do you let Jameis Winston come in and smoke you like that? Jameis Winston should be smoking any team 41-17. That man, for every touchdown Jameis throws, he's guaranteed to give you an interception or two. Guaranteed. So the Atlanta Falcons fired Arthur Smith. I'm pretty sure that's probably where Bill Belichick is going to end up, because we know Bill is not going to stay in New England after this season. New England just had the most losses in any season since I believe Bill Belichick started coaching there. So I don't think he's going to be back. But yeah, they fired Arthur Smith. It was funny because during the game, after the game, he yelled at the New Orleans head coach because they scored a touchdown from the 1 yard line, and he was mad about it. And I'm just like, I don't understand what you yelling about, bro. Your team was down 41-17. Another 7 points, another 6 points ain't gonna really make a big difference here. We're talking about 6 points when you got smoked the whole game. But I can understand his plight. I can understand why some coaches get mad and upset about it, because at the end of the day, you don't want your players to get hurt. Jameis Winston should have took a knee right there, but they was trying to get Jamal Williams a touchdown. The New Orleans running back, he hadn't had a touchdown all season, when last year he was the touchdown leader. So I can kind of understand why they wanted to get him a touchdown for the season, kind of, I guess say that he did something this year. But at the end of the day, when you're up 41-17 and you're doing another play, you're at the goal line, it's a goal line defense, people are bashing into each other, anybody can get hurt, take a knee, get off the field, try again for another day. But yeah, I still don't think Arthur Smith should have yelled like a crybaby across the field at another head coach. And respect to the head coach of the New Orleans Saints for not yelling back, or for having enough kind of conscious wherewithal to be like, all right, bro, take it easy, because it can get ugly right here. But he didn't. He let him slide. He's like, okay, cool, do your thing, yell. You still lost 48-17, but go ahead, have your cookies. So that was the sports section. The Golden Globes aired last night. I'm not really a big fan of the Golden Globes, honestly. Ever since those couple of years where they really didn't have any black nominations for the years where black films were really, really good. It was a couple years in there where black films were doing really well as far as the amount of films that were made, and we didn't have any nominations those years. And I really just feel like the Golden Globes are really stuffy. Even before that whole thing with the Golden Globes, I just never really watched it. It just felt like a stuffy room full of pretentious people. And it wasn't that the actors made it that way. It was just the way, or the people who were there to receive the awards made it that way. It's the way that they construct the whole venue. Round table, bottles of Moet. Like it just doesn't feel inviting to a viewer. It doesn't feel inviting to me as a viewer. I prefer to watch, if I am going to watch an award show, I prefer to watch the Oscars. I like the Oscars because it's stadium seating. Everybody's just there. Your seat. You see all the people who are there for their awards, all the nominees. They're just seated around, or seated in a stadium style seating. If their name is called, they get up, they go get their award, and then they go back to their seat. The Golden Globe just kind of feels like you're in a room where you're not really supposed to be in. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have any Moet on my table, so I just didn't. They don't really connect with me. But they had 14 nominations for black people this past year, and the little bit that I did watch, I saw Quinta Brunson was nominated. I saw Color Purple was nominated for a few. Beef was nominated and won. Oh, and that the actor from Bear, she won as well. She's a black actor. So we had Divine Rudolph win for supporting actress, and then we had Io. Oh man, I can't even say her last name, but she's from Bear. I love Bear. If you haven't seen Bear, move this a little bit. If you haven't seen Bear, it's a show about cooking. Man, I cook. Our chefs. I love cooking. That's one of the favorite things I like doing when I get home off the road, is cooking. And Bear kind of gives you this gritty look at a restaurant that is kind of failing, and then there's a guy that comes in. I don't want to give too much of away, but there's a guy that comes in and he's supposed to revive this restaurant. He has a staff that is not really used to his style of restaurateuring, and he has to kind of whip him in shape. I love it. It's a good show. She won for actress in a television musical or comedy, which I don't even understand how musical or comedy can be in the same category. I guess musicals can be somehow funny, I guess. Lily Gladstone won for Best Actress in a Motion Picture for drama. And then we had a few winners, a few black men that won too. Aaron Horvath, Michael Jelinek, Eric Osman, and John Spiker. They all won. Didn't really watch that segment of them winning. One of the things that I didn't like either was the fact that there didn't seem to be a lot of diversity when it came to the presenters. I think I saw, when I was watching, as far as presenters go, 3 black presenters, and then they had 3 Latina presenters out of all those awards. Come on. We can have a little bit more diversity. We need a little bit more diversity. So I don't really watch the Golden Globes like that, but I did want to shout out to the black actors and black actors and actresses who did win. So that was pretty cool. And also, I didn't like how it seemed to me, and this is just how I looked at it. A lot of the people of color were situated in the far back of the Golden Globes. The one person that won first, which was Daphne Jo Randolph for The Color Purple. Wait, did she win for The Color Purple? No, I'm sorry. She did not win for The Color Purple. She won for Holdovers. But she was situated at a table right close to Oprah. Oprah seemed like to be the only black person or person of color who was seated at a table close to the stage. When Ali Wong and Stephen Yoon won their performances, they were all the way in the back. Ali almost couldn't find the stage. Took her about 35, 45 seconds, which I'm pretty sure cut into her time to be able to say thank you out. She couldn't even really get there. I don't even understand why was the one of the Kardashians closer to the stage than a nominee? That didn't make sense to me. So I had a problem with that. And also when Bear won, the actress that won for Bear, she was all the way in the back. She was sitting all the way in the back. So I really don't like the Golden Globes because they seem to I don't know if it's deliberate, but they just don't understand the moment in some cases. In most cases, they really don't understand the moment. They're really high society, turn their nose up and don't really care. So it just, after like the first 4 or 5 awards, I was just like, okay, I'll go back to watching football. Anita wanted to watch it, so that's why we watched it. But to be honest with you, I was like, I'll go back to watching football. This is not what I want to watch. I like the Oscars. The Oscars to me seem a little bit more inclusive, and I think, but be that as it may, the Golden Globes really never seem fun to me, like an award show I want to watch. It seemed like a show that just happens. So yeah, I like watching the Oscars, even though the Oscars was the one that was so white and it wasn't the Golden Globes. The Oscars was the one that kind of snubbed black actors and actresses and directors for a couple of years there. But still, my money is on the Oscars. I enjoy watching the Oscars. I enjoy seeing the Oscars. It feels a little bit less stuffy. Honestly, we need to get back to, we need a award show for black entertainment other than BET's awards, because half the time with BET awards is television, it's movies, it's music. It's not just like the film. Like, can we get a Halle Berry Fonte award ceremony for, and just have black entertainment for, or black movies, black film, black cinema, or better yet, a minority film award show? Because I don't know, like it doesn't feel like we get an equal share of the awards when it's time for the awards to be handed out. That's just how I feel about it. Jay-Z, my man Jigga, Jay-Z, Hove, the GOAT, the God, Himothy, is lobbying to have his birthday marked as a holiday in Brooklyn, and I'm here for it. Big Daddy Kane, y'all know who that is, right? Big Daddy Kane. They asked him, would he support it? He said yes. I think that Jay-Z should have his own holiday in Brooklyn, his birthday. I think it's December 4th, right? Yeah, I'm here for it. Like Jay-Z was really, as far as music goes, for me, Jay-Z was one of those people in my early music listening days that if I didn't listen to anything else that day, I'm pretty sure I listened to either Blueprint, Hard Knock Life Volume 2, The Dynasty, American Gangster. All those albums were pure classics in my heart, in my vision for who music was for me. My third album that I ever bought was actually Hard Knock Life Volume 2. And you talking about a kid from North Carolina, when that joint dropped, I felt like I was in Brooklyn. I felt like I was in New York. I felt like I was a part of the scene. Like when that album dropped, I was walking around saying, son, you know what I mean? Like, yo, what's good, son? How you doing? What's good, ma? Like, what's up? What's popping? That was me at what, 13 years old, feeling myself hard when that joint dropped. And as far as days go, I would really love to see other artists from other states get their birthday acknowledged, right? How can we have a P.D. Pablo Day in North Carolina, or better yet, a J. Cole Day? What about in Atlanta? Can we get a Future or a T.I. Day? I would say Outkast, but it's kind of hard to do an Outkast Day because their birthdays are on different days. So maybe you just pick a day. I don't know. Maybe the date when their first album came out, that'd be their day. What about in Texas? Can we get a Lil Flip Day in Texas? Y'all not gonna front like Lil Flip wasn't the man for a minute. Or better yet, a DJ Screw Day. Can we get a DJ Screw Day? Can we get a Beyonce Day in Texas? Right? In Miami. Who will we give that to? Will we give it to Rick Ross? Will we give it to Luke? Will we give it to Trick Daddy? Which one of them would have their day? I feel like the most influential hip hop artists should have their day in every state. Jay-Z is a little different because he's kind of outside of hip hop. I mean, he's still hip hop and still rap, but he kind of went way commercial, bigger than even all the names I just mentioned. I think he even went bigger commercial than J. Cole. J. Cole is probably the biggest artist that I mentioned in that whole group, but Jay-Z went commercial. So yeah, get that man his day. Speaking of Rick Ross, he was out for a moment. Rick Ross was outside for a moment. He said that the biggest rappers, the top 3 of all time, is Tupac, Biggie, and Jay-Z. And his reasoning was, but he also said not today, though. But he said definitely not today, though. If Pac was allowed to, I'm sorry, that's my take. I'm getting ahead of myself. That's my take. He said that Pac, Big, and Jay-Z are the 3 biggest because of what they were able to do in music and hip hop, as far as making money and as far as like being some of the richest or most successful artists in the industry. I have a problem with that because, it's cool when you want to consider an artist big. You want to do your top 3 based off of that, right? You want to say they're the biggest because they made the most money, but then you also tell everybody else not to pocket watch. And if you're going to tell people not to pocket watch, then why would we make the top 3 artists in hip hop based off of how much money they made and not based off the success of their music or how influential they are in music? So with that being said, Tupac, Biggie, and Jay-Z, if you're talking about 1998, if you're talking about, 2002, then yeah, you can arguably say Jay-Z, Biggie, and Pac are your top 3 artists in hip hop of all time at that point, right? Up until that point. But if we're talking today, if Tupac was alive today, Tupac would not be a rapper. One, he would not be a rapper today. And the reason he wouldn't be a rapper today is because he wouldn't have a lung. Because if you paid attention to when he, was in that instant shot, however many times he was shot, he lost a lung. And I don't know too many people who can perform on stage without a lung. Beanie Siegel don't even rap anymore like that on stage because, I mean, if he's down half a lung and his voice sounds completely different from when it did when he was 2 lungs up in the game. Tupac lost a lung, right? He lost a lung. He wouldn't have the breath to even be able to do this thing anymore like he wanted to. That man, West Side till we die. Like that was all diaphragm, right? Tupac was all diaphragm with it, all just chest, right? Yeah, I don't think he'd be rapping no more. And if he, let's say he survived that incident, came out somehow miraculously with both lungs, I don't think he would want to rap anymore. I'd shut it down. I'd go straight. And he was headed to music. He was headed to making more movies anyway, right? So I don't think Tupac would still be rapping right now. I don't think Tupac would be rapping right now. If Biggie was still alive, I definitely don't think Biggie would be rapping right now. I think Biggie probably would have put out maybe 1 or 2 more albums, especially when you talk about Diddy and you talk about Bad Boy and you talk about the track record of Bad Boy. The Bad Boy track record, you get about 2.5 albums, and then you get a remix album, and then you go on tour, and then you wait for 5 years, and then you do another tour. Like Bad Boy don't have a track record for longevity. They just didn't. So I don't think Biggie would have had his moment. We would still consider the albums that he put out some of the best albums to date, but he would not be rapping right now. Biggie would not be rapping right now. Jay-Z don't even rap anymore. Like he's thought of it. He's, teased the idea that he's going to put a new album out, but all Jay-Z does is features. And to consider him the top 3 of today of current rap hip hop music, no, that's not it. We can't do that. We can't overlook Drake, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, especially and then if you want to talk about money, the money side of it, I mean, if you compare what Jay-Z was able to do in the industry versus what J. Cole, Kendrick, and Drake were able to do as far as grabbing money from the industry, I'm going to go with J. Cole, Drake, and Kendrick as far as being able to make money off of their just music. Jay-Z has made money off of liquor. He's made money off of entertainment. He's made money off of movies. He's made money off of clothing. So it's not just rap anymore. It's not just hip hop. Jay-Z is so much more than that. So I wouldn't even consider Jay-Z top 3 in just music today. So you have to go to the guys who just stick to the music thing. And that my top 3, like I said, would be Drake, J. Cole, and Kendrick, period. And 2, the style of rap that Jay-Z did, the style of rap that Biggie did, the style of rap that Pac did, it's old. That's not a knock on them. That's not a knock on what they were influential at the time when they brought forth their styles. But unless they switch their styles of rapping, they wouldn't survive now. Biggie and Tupac would have to completely change their style of rapping in order to appease the audience that we have today. So I'm not going to go based off of wealth or pocket watching. I'm going to go based off of how influential is the artist to the time today. And if you want to go top 3 forever, top 3 all time, that's debatable too. That's debatable too. Maybe Jay-Z is top 3 all time, but Pac and Biggie are not top 3 all time. You have to consider all the artists that walked in paths behind them and after them. And I just can't. Pac was big because of the hysteria of what happened with East Coast, West Coast beef, period. And we shouldn't put beef and murder as far as influential top 3 all time. You can't, I'm big is top 10 for sure. Pac is top 10 for sure. But the only person I would say all time top 10 would be Jay-Z. That's the only person I would say top 10 all time, because aside from the beef, aside from having to step in beef and go murder music on him, Jay-Z just kept putting out music. He just kept doing his thing. He didn't listen to the critics. He didn't listen to the naysayers, the people who said he couldn't do it. He just kept putting out music, period. Ja Rule. Jeffrey Atkins. He's been in the news a lot lately. He came in and said that I'm not even gonna talk about the situation with the new contract and the money and all of that, but he definitely came out and said that he is going to open a school in Ghana. He said he loves the kids. Ja Rule love the kids. That's what he said. And he said he's going to open a school in Ghana. He said he's going to do it like he's going to follow in the footsteps of, I believe, Akon. Akon opened a school in Ghana. And no, I'm sorry, it was Lil Jon. Lil Jon opened up a school in Ghana. and he says that he's going to do the same thing. The construction is funded by a $70,000 donation from the producer, including a kindergarten and primary school located in the, I'm not even going to try to say that district, but it's basically Eastern Ghana. I love the idea. I think it's dope. It's a tax write-off. Let's just call it that. Call it exactly what it is, a tax write-off, a $70,000 tax write-off. But I wish that $70,000 would be funded into the youth of America, of black kids in America. I really believe as black people, we have got to stop going back to Africa to fix the problems in Africa before we fix the problems at home. You can feel how you feel about it, but all of the practices of Akon building a city in Africa, of Oprah building a school in Africa, of Lil Jon building a school in Africa, Ja Rule building a school in Africa, great, perfect. Honestly, do your thing, but it does not do anything for the places of which you came. Lil Jon is from the inner city, I believe. I don't know the man's story, but if I had to guess, I'd say he's from inner city. Oprah, we know Oprah's story, tough upbringing, and so many other celebrities who get rich or appear rich, become successful, and then go to Africa and build something in Africa. And it's an investment. It is a tax write-off, but until the problems of inner city America for black Americans is fixed, I don't care for it. That's just how I feel about it. Like Cameron had a statement the other week where he talked about how Africans in Africa really don't like black Americans like that. And okay, cool. That's fine. If you don't like us, you don't think that we are from the motherland, cool. Okay. But the resources that we pour into that country to fix it, to help it grow, when there are too many issues in black America that need to be fixed, I just don't agree with spending money in other countries when your home state is still doing bad. $70,000 goes a long way in Africa. I get it, but $70,000 could change the lives of a few different people in your home state. You could help a person open a business. You could help a person grow a business. You could help someone, if they deem it what they want to do, go to college. Be more like LeBron. Open a school in your backyard and where you from, in your hometown. Be more like Kanye. Open a school in Los Angeles. I think it was Los Angeles. We don't have to go across the ocean to help people. We can help the people who are in our close vicinity, people who need our help every single day. I'm not going to applaud somebody going to Africa and helping Africa when there are too many issues that we have to deal with as black Americans every single day that you could put that money towards. It may not have the biggest return on your investment as far as what you can get for your 70,000 Ja Rule, but hey, you said you just signed a deal that was going to net you almost $100 million. I mean, you can invest $70,000 and not yield the biggest return on your investment back home. You can do that. You can open up a juice bar in the inner city. You could open up a STEM center in the inner city. So many things that you could do for the black youth in this country that until those problems are fixed, we should not go outside. That's how I feel about it. 21 Savage, 21. I don't know if this is for real or not, but he's announced an American Dream biopic starring Donald Glover and Caleb McLaughlin. You know, Caleb, the black guy from Stranger Things, and y'all know who Donald Glover is. Atlanta, Childish Gambino, basically put Bad and Bougie on the map. That guy, right? He announced a biopic with himself titled American Dream, which will star Donald Glover. The rapper unveiled the project on Instagram on Sunday by uploading a poster, and I saw the poster, and I assume that Donald Glover is playing 21 Savage. Man, I'm here for this. I'm here for it. I can't. There's no more details has been released. There's no writer or director. We don't even know if the project has been picked up by a major studio, but I don't care if it ain't been picked up by a major studio. Can we get this on Tubi? Can we get this on one of those networks over there? Like, can we get it on one of them? Like, I would love to see this. Donald Glover playing 21 Savage. I'm here for it. I don't exactly know who Caleb McLaughlin would represent. Maybe, I guess, maybe 21 Savage's best friend. I don't know, but I'm here for it. I need that. I want to see that. 21. I don't really do the whole slaughter gang murder music, but I like 21 for the simplicity of his sound and that it can be in a lot of different places. It can be murder music, but it can also be on a track with J. Cole. So I'm here for it. I would love to see that pop off. A couple other stories I would love to see as well. I would love to see the Kendrick Lamar story. I would love to see the Outkast story. I would love to see the Jay-Z story, the Rick Ross story. I would love to see the Otis Redding story. I would love to see the Luther Vandross story. Could you imagine those? I would love to see those stories portrayed on film. We need more of those. Like I said, can we get them on Tubi? Can we get a Tubi deal to get like all of the Black American success stories in music and film on Tubi? Can we get that deal broker? I would love to see that happen. All right, we got one more story for the day, and then we're going to get up out of here. Meek Mill. We're going to end with Meek Mill. He's launching his own little weed strain, despite admitting drugs make him depressed. You take what you want from that. I mean, I'm here for it. I think as long as we can diversify our portfolio, our assets, then go ahead and do it, especially when the United States is making more money off of legalized weed than they have ever made before. And so if you can get into the game, get into the game. I hope that he uses this new strain to teach people about the importance of marijuana and how it affects your mental health and how it can also help you be a better person. Because and he did say that, let's see. He said, I smoke weed every day and I get depressed as soon as I get high. But he says, I be happy as hell sober. He says it just helps me think deeper and more realistic. And I don't know about the realistic part, but I can understand the deeper thinking. But I mean, it has a lot of medicinal properties as well. I like the CBD bombs. I like the CBD rubs, which it's hemp. It derives from marijuana. So I'm here for it. I think it's something dope. I think it's something that, like I said, if you can get in, and a lot of the worries of that I have with legalized marijuana is how much of it do we know where it's coming from? What's the source? What chemicals are being put in it? Is it organic? Is it natural? Is there pesticides? Now, granted, we didn't have that ability to know what it was a few years ago. Before it was legalized, you just had to get a pack from your neighborhood, whoever had it, plug. But as it becomes more legalized and more popular, I hope that these people who are putting their name on a strand from some farmer somewhere who just said, hey, yeah, invest in me, I can grow some weed and we can be partners. I hope that they are doing their due diligence and before they give this away to the consumer or make profit off of it to the consumer, because the last thing we need is more health problems from people just trying to make a quick dollar. That's it. All right. That's it for the show today. This has been the Tim Johnson Podcast. I'm going to try to end it on a good musical note. Let's see where we go with the music today. I didn't have music playing for today. We're going to end it right there, right? There's no music today. But I will say, again, thank you guys for joining me. Thank you guys for checking me out. Thank you guys for allowing me to come into, if you're listening to me on the road, come into your truck, your big rig, your van, your box truck, your car, wherever you at. Thank you for taking the time and listening and absorbing this with me. If you're watching this on YouTube, do me a favor and like it. Share this video. If you're listening to this on Spotify or on Google or Apple, please leave a 5-star. And if you leave a review, I will read that review on the podcast. I haven't gotten a 5-star review yet, so I'm still waiting for the first one. If you're out there and you want to be the first one, then go ahead and do that, because I want to read it. I would love to read it. But we out of here. We actually got a load that is picking up tonight at 5 p.m. and we're leaving from Laredo, Texas, going up to Roanoke, Virginia. I don't know when my next episode will be, but I'll hopefully have another one up in the next couple of days or so. We'll see how we can keep this thing going. But that's been it for today, live from Laredo, Texas. Take care of yourself. Take care of everybody around you. Be intentional with who you want to be. Don't worry about the naysayers, the negative thoughts. They're all there because they're supposed to be there for you to grind against. Be purposeful. I love you. I appreciate you. Y'all have a good day. Be safe. We out.